Would you rate? Now, I don't want to get into a great debate about this, but I think most people look at the Chili Bowl as number one. Where would the BC39 rank when it comes to midget races? Is it number two?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, it depends on what metric you use. The Turkey Night Grand Prix is the oldest midget race in America.
That's true.
It's back to 1934. And so in terms of historic prestige, it's the Turkey Night Grand Prix. In today's world, I'd say it's the Chili Bowl. To me, because where else do you have so many different disciplines and racing talent assembled under one roof? There's nothing like that. I would think that the BC39 is approaching number two. With the Turkey Night Grand Prix probably being number three, unless you're sort of an old line fan like me, and then the Turkey Nights is the granddaddy of them all in so many ways. But It's becoming big. It has to have legs, and I think it's going to be interesting because, listen, Scott, the biggest champion of the BC39 is IMS President Doug Boles. There's no question about that. That original race would never have been pushed across the finish line if it wasn't for Doug. It wasn't for what he also did behind the scenes. And this guy is fabulous. I mean, he is an old school promoter. The stories of him mingling with the fans are legion. Thursday night. Now, think about this. Thursday night, he's got a pretty big weekend coming up.
Right.
And I'm announcing at Lincoln Park Speedway, and in the booth comes Doug Boles, who proclaimed, "I just needed a Lincoln Park Speedway cheeseburger and some USAC racing." That it just endears himself to short track fans, certainly in our part of the nation and elsewhere. He cares about that race. Roger Penske is a businessman. Roger was there last year. I actually talked to Roger. Roger's biggest racing heroes as a young man was a midget racer named Ralph Pratt. He drove a gem car for Ohio's Jim White. It's a cream and white car. Had a teammate, Neil Carter. That was Roger's first racing hero. So he grew up fascinated by midget racing. And as you know, he was the Grand Marshal at the Chili Bowl one year.
Right.
So I think he was duly impressed with what he saw last year. Immediately made some comments that he could make it better. But make no mistake about it, Roger is a businessman. And so if Roger believes, and this is really, COVID's over, we've had a year on the ground, if Roger believes that this is a race that has real legs, then it has the chance to slot in there as one of the greats. There was a conversation last night that there were plans to make the grandstands there permanent. The footings in the track are permanent, but the grandstands are not. Now, I don't know that to be true.
Right.
If that was true, and they built that, then they're going to use it. And now we're on to something. So I think this is a pretty important year for the race because I've worked at racetracks where Roger was essentially the promoter. Roger has his fingerprints on everything. My most famous story is at the Belle Isle Grand Prix, the first one in which we returned to Detroit. My racing announcing partner, Larry Henry, got to the island about 5 o'clock in the morning and saw Roger out on a moped repositioning trash cans. This is Roger Penske. And if Roger likes it, Roger thinks it's going to work, then we're going to be on to something.
Yeah. I don't know if it was true, but there was some rumblings, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, that they were thinking about taking the dirt track up and eliminating the BC39. Was there any truth to that at all?
Well, I mean, it was sort of billed the first time as a one-time deal.
Right.
So there was never a guarantee at the very beginning that it was going to continue. Now, I certainly can't deign to speak for Doug Boles, but
right.
I think Doug Boles had a certain, if we build it, they will come, and if they come, it will stay. And that's certainly been borne out. But I mean, it wasn't certain that it was going to be an annual event. That I would agree with that statement.
Yeah.